All right, good morning, good morning. Let's take a look at NQ here. So obviously big gap higher this morning. Essentially, what we want to be watching for today is whether or not the gap higher is going to hold. So gap rules will definitely be in effect for today. Now remember, the 19925 area was that key area of resistance for NQ. We've seen price action kind of struggle with that resistance point for the duration of the week, and then also through mid-late August, all through here where my cursor is. Prior to this morning's gap, price for the duration of this week was just trading within a sideways range. So we now have a near-term range breakout and then price clearing that key area of resistance. We want to see kind of the main level for today. It's going to be right through here, that 925 area. So, some sort of retest would be lovely to see. We may or may not see that today, but that is definitely one potential scenario to keep in mind, a retest of that prior day high area, that 19925 area. This is a pretty significant gap. Anytime we do have a gap of this magnitude, I mean, we're talking about 2.3% here on NQ, which again, it's a big gap for the index. So anytime we have a gap of this magnitude, the session definitely can be slower. So we just want to see, per usual, how that intraday structure is going to set up, what type of action we're looking like off of the open, whether there's going to be any attempt from sellers to fill the gap, whether there will be any, profit taking along with that, or if it's just going to be more of a gap and go type of session. So a couple of different scenarios to keep in mind here. Mainly be looking at initially, at least off the open, how this gap is treated, what that opening 5-minute bar is looking like, and then if we see any follow through on that or not. Now ES is going to be a fairly similar approach. We do have the same sort of gap here. The big difference with ES this morning is the fact that it is just shy of that all-time high. Right? Let me rescale this. Just shy of that prior all-time high. Now, SPY is already into the highs. This is the index ETF, right? You do have that big rejection yesterday, so anyone who was short from yesterday is definitely feeling the pain this morning. If you're looking at this bar from yesterday and you're thinking, oh, we're going to break down, there's going to be a rejection of the highs or some sort of gap down. Those market participants, those that were thinking that, are now underwater in a big, big way, right? So what I'm going to be looking at here on ES is the reaction to that prior all-time high, which is looks like 57.82. What is that actual? 57.82.5. It's the prior all-time high for the ES December contract here. So I'll be looking at the early reaction to that all-time high. And again, we do have that big gap here in the index as well. So primary watch here on both the indices is just how this gap is treated early on, and then what that structure is looking like for the first 30 minutes. We do have some 10 a.m. data as well. Buyers are not really in trouble at this point unless you start to see a big failure at that prior breakout point. So the breakout point on ES is 57.30. Right, again, look at yesterday's daily bar. Some signs of rejection there, even the day prior. Some signs of rejection there, and then today just rips right through it. So as of right now, we know there's a technical breakout. Price is breaking up through that most recent lower high here on the daily time frame, and now retesting the prior all-time high. That's pretty much the early focus. Definitely will not be in a big rush off of the open this morning. Again, wanting to see how that intraday structure really starts to unfold. Unfortunately, VWAP for ES is way down here at 57.50. So that is a ways off. Let's see NQ. Yes, way down near that prior day high, 19,900. So pretty large overnight move here. 2.4% for NQ. And what you can do is you take a fib for the overnight move, kind of get some retracement reference points. So that overnight low is way down at 19,643. Now, even the shallow retracement is here into 950. So it's still 100 points lower. So we got about 30 seconds till the open here. Definitely a good day to be, like every other day, a good day to be working on that patience. If you are feeling any sort of FOMO right now for this overnight move, the suggestion would be to just try and cool off before you place any trade. Try and get those emotions regulated before you place any trade. We're just looking for that easy money play. We're not looking to chase anything here. Look at that gap. Enormous. Gap bigger than on the contract roll. Yeah, this is a big one. Definitely a big one. Let's see if we can even get a retest into 20K here on NQ. So at the very least, I want to see this opening 5-minute bar fully close. 1 minute till that opening 5-minute bar closes. Great volume so far this morning. Staying patient, like I said, letting that intraday structure build out. Need some time here. So you have the session volume point of control down there near 20K, near that 20K level of interest here on NQ for ES. It's about 5773 ES into that 5770 level of interest. So far for ES, price is rejecting the prior all-time high. There's your opening 5-minute bar. Not all that surprising to see some selling, right? Let's see if sellers are successful in showing follow through here. These are those gap rules we discussed yesterday. Waiting till 10 a.m. Yeah, that's a good call right now. NQ coming into that 20K. Almost into that 20K now. NQ, NASDAQ. If 20K fails, we're looking at prior day high as the next real reference point. Your level of interest, the 920 is right there. That was that big structural level that we discussed a few minutes ago, which would be my preference personally. Right through here. Can't see it. Right, oops. Right through there. There's almost your first test of 20K, just shy of the 20K. ES is actually almost into that prior day high. Not too far off here. About 10 more points. No, 5 more points. No trade for me on that 20K bounce personally. Buyer's pretty responsive there on that first test. Coming into the highs here, coming into that pre-market high. Session high there. There's that opening print for NQ. And a couple points shy of that pre-market high now. Up through the pre-market high. And you've got the 20,075 level of interest overhead. So a pretty good response versus that 20K level of interest. And the session volume point of control. Looks like it may shift shortly here. ES still down near the lows. It's a pretty big divergence there between NQ and ES. There's NQ, pretty much a level to level move there, 20K into the 2075 level of interest, just overhead. First 15-minute bar of the sesh almost closed. We've got about 2 minutes here remaining, 2.5 minutes. And S&P still near the lows here. ES, you want to keep an eye on that prior day high, definitely. NQ, what you can do now is take your intraday fib. If you need some pullback reference points. Sellers stepping in versus that 20,075 level of interest. And that opening 15-minute bar closes here in 1 minute. Don't forget data at 10 a.m. as well. Session volume point of control is getting ready to shift here on NQ. And making its way back towards that 20K area. NQ. We're doing with ES. ES into prior day high. So a good location to keep an eye on there. Prior day high. NQ, your session volume point of control just shifted. So there's your opening 15-minute bar all closed up. Red bar, but mostly indecision there. Not a true directional bar. So NQ, more buyers responsive versus 61% fib and that session volume point of control. Intraday structure starting to potentially shape up here. The day is still very, very young. And the 5-minute just shows us barcode, right? So patience, patience, patience. Keep that patience. Let's see this reaction to 20K here on NQ if it gets there. ES, no bid whatsoever at the prior day high. So your next level of interest is into that 57.50. And that prior structure point is still way lower, down into 57.30. So keep an eye on that prior day high area. Oh, you caught that 20K long, Dom. Nice. Nice play. That was a big bounce. 70 pointer. So let's see if NQ gives us that retest into 20K. How's ES doing? So some buyers there stepping in versus that value area low for the overnight sesh. You also have VWAP there in the prior day high. Don't love the location personally. Just given time of day right now. Still have 10 minutes till 10 a.m. Here's NQ coming into the lows. Yeah, 10 till 10 with data. NQ about to make a new low of day potentially. There's your new low of day on the NASDAQ. Don't need that intraday fib anymore at this point. So there's that first shallow fib area for the overnight move, right? And as always, I treat these more of like a reference point rather than a true level of interest. So if this area fails on NQ, you'll be looking at that 930, 925 level of interest, which again, that's the big structural point. From late August. Check out that opening hourly bar. $30-minute PO3. I have no idea what that is, Benny. So at this point, we got about 7 minutes till 10 a.m. Just waiting for that 10 a.m. potential setup. Oh, those 30-minute candles, yeah. That's helpful. Mr. Christopher sent me that indicator. It's pretty nice. ES, you gotta love the gap rules. This is a perfect example of those gap rules. Got to love it. NQ not as clean because you have the blip above that high there, but it's just an up thrust. Price resolves lower. So far, we are cash. Cashed up. Per plan. All right, back up through the 20K. See if we get some type of market structure here near 20K. That would definitely be worth monitoring. A little market structure type of setup near that 20K level of interest. Ideally with 10 a.m. alignment. Ideal scenario. How are we doing with S&P? Nice. So bounce versus the 5750 level of interest. Potential intraday change in character here on ES if it can break up through 5761 and sustain. And 3 till 10. 3 till 10 a.m. So session volume point of control on NQ moved back to that 20K area. I keep getting like Halloween music. And it's terrible. Sheesh. It's like Halloween theme. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to listen to some lo-fi right now. Nightmare Before Christmas. That was a great movie. That was a gem. All right, we are 2 minutes till 10 a.m. Looking at NQ 20K level of interest. See if buyers can set up some sort of structure here, maybe a higher low. And for ES, you have the change in character there. Almost like a modified little spring setup here. Undercut of the prior low, test the level of interest, reclaim. Let's see how this 10 a.m. is looking. It's a more minor print. Existing home sales, but it's data nonetheless. Data nonetheless. So 20K kind of struggling so far. Buyers struggling. Now the question post 10 a.m. that we want to keep an eye on is this the range for today? Like, do we have more of a neutral session, more of a sideways session? Or does price break and hold either the current session low or current session high? That's the post 10 a.m. Watch. Let's see this data print. Data. That's our profile, okay. Looks like that data was nothing burger, as expected. More of a minor print. What are we doing with ES? So almost back into that 57.70 level of interest. 15-minute bar just shows indecision there. Oh, that's the hourly bar, excuse me. Nice hammer on the 15-minute. That actually looks pretty good. If that prior day high area can hold. So now a good time to bring back the intraday fib. Get some reference points. And check out where price is finding a lid right now. Right at that 50%. So buyers are looking for a push up through that 50% retracement. Yeah, it could be. It could be the range for the sesh. I wouldn't rule it out. And keep in mind, NQ is up 2.25%. It's huge. It's big for the index. So NQ trying to break through that 50% fib. It's your intraday fib. Buyers did a pretty good job of holding the 20K so far. 20K level of interest. And ES still working on that 57.70. Almost there now. There's your 61% intraday fib for NQ. NASDAQ. NQ, next upside reference point is really that pre-market high there in the 20.060s area. Do have a big high volume node through here, right around 20.040. ES, nice bounce. Up through the 57.70 now, coming into session volume point of control. Another level to level move in the index. Volume is great. Volume not a concern anymore. Landscapers are here, so you may hear the infamous leaf blowers. Thursday stream things. So ES a little consolidation here near that 57.70. NQ coming for that pre-market high. You do have the 78% fib right in this area as well. Yeah, it may as well be a jungle. Humid Texas, anything grows. Anything grows here. So NQ, let's see if we get a real test of that pre-market high or not. ES still just consolidating here near that 57.70. Pretty nice bounce off of the lows. Session volume point of control has shifted again here on NQ. It's kind of bouncing between 20K and that 20,035. Rolling over a bit. So ES, a little bit of rejection there, 57.70. Prior day highs, your downside reference point with VWAP loosely aligned. NQ almost back into that 20K. Almost. So ES buyers absorbing that little pullback there. Still needs a break of the 57.70. And you can probably see this make a push for the session high if it can break that point. There we go. There's that pre-market high on NQ. If you still have any longs from 20K, make sure you are trimming. 20K longs. And your next 15-minute bar here closes in about 2 minutes. So right near that prior bar high. ES still kind of faltering here in this 771, 772 area. There's the trade. Picked up the higher low as discussed. That was the higher low at 20K. Sold a bunch, and then when we got the retest, I added back. So it's technically one trade, active management. And again, that higher low right near 20K here. Higher low, market structure based play with a level of interest. Don't need to nail the exact low. There we go. Take some more off, Dom. See if we get the session high now. Just shy of the highs there. just shy of the highs in that 20,075 level of interest. Here's your next 15-minute bar. So strong response from buyers, right, on that 15-minute, but directionally speaking, still kind of within that range here, right? Nice trade. Nice trade. You must be 2 for 2 at 20K. That was a good level. Can price break the high here? Or is this the range? Is the range in? There we go. There's your new high of day. See if 75 can hold now. If you're still long, you want to trim more if you can. Personally, also raising the trail just in case we see some rejection here. There's the trade for you. One trade. Active management. Need to see 75 holding on NQ. How are we doing with ES? Let's see. Very nice. So breaks that 57.50 coming into the session highs now as well. NQ, you can trim a bit more. I suspect that 2100 will be a psychological level. Trail's down below 70. I want to keep it tight enough to keep the gains, but not so tight where you get prematurely taken out. So again, that's one trade on the screen. Market structure play versus the higher low at 20K. Right through here, right? Active management takes them out into the push. You get another pullback into your level with a higher low. You add back. You just add back. Nothing to be scared of. Just add back. NQ just shy of that 2100 now. Yeah, here comes the trail. Damn. Let's see. See if 75 holds. Still have my trail just below 70. Try and give it enough room for this 75 level of interest retest, but again, not too much to where you give back too much of your gains there. Nice. Yeah, it was a nice play. Took some patience. Right now about plus 80 points in that one trade. See if we get some more out of it. Need a bounce right here. Price will grab my trail. ES struggling. No new high over there at ES. All right, 20.075 holds. That's good. Little shallow pullback, super shallow pullback there. Right into your level of interest. See if we get the new high. I'll let the chasers have some more. Right at a new high of day. Set those contracts free. Oh, no new high, damn. Can adjust that fib too. There we go. I'm raising my trail up below 85. Next upside level of interest is 150, so just try and hold. Try and hold with market structure. My trail sits at 82 right now. Look at that push. There we go. Trim a little more there. And raising the trail to just below 2100. What a move, man. I mean, wow. Let's go. They don't always happen like that, but it's nice when they do. All right, the rest of my play comes off just ahead of 150 if we get there. Again, just a recap. Again, the idea for the trade was the higher low at 20K level of interest. Wanted to see that market structure trade right there. So we add somewhere through here. I'll post the execution in the think tank later. Add somewhere through there. Scale, scale, scale. Once you see the pullback into the 20K with buyers present, like I said, you just add whatever you sold, buy it back. All right, I'm raising the trail to 112 area. I don't want the low of this candle to fail, especially with price so close to my final target here. Makes no sense not to trail more tightly now. See if price can break the high here. Next 15-minute bar is pretty explosive. Wow. All right, raise the trail a little bit more, just below 25 now. I'm looking for 150 here. It's that next upside level of interest. Trailing incredibly tight right now. Little bit more. All right, I'm all out. Nice play. Nice play. Where's my execution at? Here we go. All right, that's probably a one and done for me. Got about 140 points there. 140 in one trade live on the stream. So again, just to recap the idea, right? No need to get involved early on in the action. Personally, I like to see how the structure develops. We get the retest, so price comes and retests the first shallow fib, and this fib is from the overnight low to the overnight high. So you get a bounce there, pretty responsive buying activity, right? Price reclaims the 20K area, and then the idea was, all right, if we could get market structure here, if we could get a higher low structure point there at 20K, that may be an entry. Now, did I know it was going to rip 140 points? No. Definitely not. Definitely not. But we have decent upside room here, right? So, again, like my execution shows, right? Takes them off early. You can see the retest there into 20K where I added back everything I had sold. And then again, I heavily unload a lot of the position early on in the move. That's just how I managed the trade as price kind of tests some intraday resistance points. Once price starts to clear these areas, it like opens up. So you can just start to trail based on market structure, based on every series of higher low, right? Higher low. So with every higher low that gets made, move the trail, another higher low. Okay, we move the trail. All the while trimming along the way. So that was the idea. Hope it makes sense. As of right now, it's just a matter of continuing to watch and see if this is going to be like a true trend day move or not. Where are we at as far as all-time high? So all-time high is still higher. Still up into, still another 100 points higher, which for NQ is not that much. But I would, I mean, price can continue higher here, but I would be cautious. I mean, NQ is almost up 3%, which for the index, starting to get a bit extreme. What's our ATR? We're 521 points versus a normal 400 point ATR, so 130%. Can it continue higher? Of course, but you just want to don't be responsible with how you're getting involved. I would personally want to see, a deeper pullback before taking a re-entry. That would just be my preference. Something at the very least to like the shallow fib. So yeah, done for the day is a good call, honestly. But trades like this are why we can stay patient on every other day, why we can really let the setup come to us. And if you miss it, you don't have to chase. There will be another. There will be another. So we're 1 hour into the day here. Let's see this reaction at 2150. Caught that Benny nice. Yeah, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't always unfold in that way. You don't always get those huge rips, but it's always nice when it does. And you've got a management strategy to actually keep you in the move. I'll post the executions right now in the think tank. All right, so it's in there if you want to check it out. Trailing using the 30-second structure, yeah, that's solid. Very similar type of approach, personally. Very, very similar. So keep an eye on that 15-minute bar here. Still has 6 minutes before it closes, but you want to watch for any signs of exhaustion on those higher time frames. Yeah, slap that thumbs up if you enjoy the stream. Let's see what we get here as the day continues to develop. You got that initial selling versus 150 on NQ. Not even a pullback into the shallow fib there. So let's see how ES is doing. ES made a new high, actually broke the all-time high. So we have an all-time high in ES. Creepy Cauldron. Another Halloween song, man. What is this? What is this? Too soon for that. Later, Dom. Nice work today. See you tomorrow, man. So NQ pulling back a bit more. NQ still pulling in a bit. At this point, I just want to see at what point do buyers start to step in again, if at all. And then also keep an eye on that 15-minute bar, which closes up in about 2 minutes here. Kids Bop season themed music. Man, this is the playlist you sent me. I don't know if you're still here or not. Oh, that's funny. So again, we're just looking to see the depth of pullback here on NQ. ES is back into the session volume point of control. We've got 5770 down there as well. $20.075 level of interest kind of next up here on NQ. So that 15-minute bar closed red, a little bit of exhaustion there on the higher time frames. And like I said, want to see, do buyers, at what point do they start to step in again, if at all? I would be looking at more significant structure levels such as the 20.075 area right through here. That's the nearest downside level of interest. Pastor Combine, nice work. Nicely done. That's what we like to hear. Congrats. Congrats. It's a big milestone. So almost 90 into the sesh right now. No longer need that fib on the chart from the overnight move. That is irrelevant. I always like to keep the charts as clean as possible. Get all that unnecessary info off of there. Don't want noise on the charts. No noise. So NQ, that first test of the 20.075 level of interest. That was also the prior session high. Has held. See if buyers actually step in here or not. If you're still trading, it's a good area to monitor. ES back into that 5770 level of interest. Your session volume point of control right through here as well. So far for ES, this has been a pretty neutral session with a bullish lean. So more of a range bound session so far, right? And we're about 8 minutes until 11 a.m. See what kind of action we get into 11. So far, I'm still just with that one main play for the sesh. I'd need, for me to place another trade today, I'd need to see something that is just incredibly compelling. True A++++. Big part of trading is knowing when to stop while you're ahead. So NQ, a retest of this 20.075 level of interest. Again, keep an eye on your higher time frames here. Specifically the 15-minute. So that was a big exhaustion bar versus an upside level of interest. Volume is still pretty good today. Volume not currently an issue. So if this area fails, you have the pre-market high aligned with the 50% fib there. That's the intraday fib. Here it comes right now. And ES still here, struggling with that 57.70 area. How's the day, everyone? How we doing? Green, red, flat. How's it looking out there? Green, green, nice. Nice. Solid green. There we go. There we go. Green. Okay. There we go. So NQ coming into that 50% retracement here for the intraday move, and you have the pre-market high there as well. Good example of watching higher time frames for clues, right? 15-minute showed exhaustion at our level of interest, price rolling over now. So if you were wanting to short, you would want to wait for some higher time frame signal like that. It's an easy way to avoid fighting a trend day, because typically on a trend day, you're not going to see that 15-minute sell bar. And if you do, it won't show any follow through. Couple points shy of that 50% retrace now. Just want to see this 11 a.m. See if we get any activity near 11 a.m. here. If you're trading ES, you want to keep an eye on that 5770. Right through here. No real bid from buyers so far on this pullback. Let's check your 5 and 15 minute. 5 and 15. Higher time frames help. Now we're coming into 11 a.m. here in about 20 seconds. New 30-minute bar. New 15-minute bar. NQ back into the pre-market high. ES still struggling with 5770. Volume starting to taper out of ES here a bit. So your next kind of reference point here is session volume point of control and the 61% fib. Next major level is down into 20K for NQ. All right, so ES VWAP right there, 5761. No reference point or anything like that with it. Action is certainly starting to slow down a bit here. And Q back into that 20.075 area. So some buyers interested in that pre-market high. See if it can continue to hold or not. Might be the first green 5-minute bar we've had in the past 20 to 30 minutes. Decent little bounce there. Buyers showing up. Gotta love that 50% fib, man. Gotta love it. All time frames. That is just a gem. Nice bounce. Five-minute shows bullish engulfing. And I was at that pre-market high, 50% fib retracement. So now you want to see if you're a buyer or you're bullish, you want to see buyers continue to defend the 20.075 level of interest right through here. Essentially, you want to see this whole area be defended as support. ES still here, 57.70, still here. See if NQ can break this 110 area, may give another shot at the 150. Got a little intraday structure right through there. A little bit of little bit of a lower high. Sellers stepping in. And negating pretty much the entirety of that prior 5-minute buy bar. So if this area fails right through here, you can look at session volume point of control and then potentially down into 20K. Looks like ES giving a true test of VWAP there right now. Let's have a look. Yeah, into the VWAP. Again, not much else to work with here. Like to see some sort of reference point alignment. NQ buyers attempting to defend that pre-market high level of interest area. Nicely done. And like I mentioned a few minutes ago, buyers would be interested in defending this area, right? So far, they've done that, but now you have some clear kind of intraday resistance right through here. Big part of my edge is watching how that intraday structure unfolds. A lot of information from just what the market gives you. It's the basis of everything for me. So again, like I said, a break of that 110 area on NQ, and you can see a retest of the 150. Looks like ES held the VWAP pretty nicely. There we go. So if you caught the VWAP long, you want to make sure to trim into this area and then try and hold some for up through here. Good action today. Wow. All right, folks, that is a wrap for me. That is a wrap for the stream. Thank you guys for jumping in. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here. As always, we'll keep the analysis going in the Traders Think Tank. Hope you guys had a good one, a profitable day. Hope you got some value from the stream. Some really good action today. Definitely a day to be studying the action. A lot of information to be gleaned from today's action that'll help you in the future if you're into that. I will see you in the Traders Think Tank. If you're joining us from YouTube, I'll see you in the next stream.